Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diamond. I'm a Nigerian living in Ivory Coast. So today we're going to be talking about cost of living in Ivory Coast. And I'm going to be talking about cost of living in two states in Ivory Coast. Since I came down to Ivory Coast, I've lived in two states. I've lived in the country's capital, which is Abidjan, and I've lived in another state, which is called Bouaké. So I'm going to be comparing the cost of living in both Abidjan and Bouaké. So guys, I wrote some things down and I'm going to be looking down to get some of the things I wrote. So let's start with Abidjan, the cost of living in Abidjan. For accommodation, if you're someone that is thinking of visiting Abidjan or moving down to Abidjan, these are the basic things you need to consider: accommodation, food, transportation, some of the basic amenities. So these are what I'm going to be talking about in this video. For Abidjan, the accommodation, to get a single room in Abidjan, a one room apartment in Abidjan is going for about 50,000 to 150,000 CFA, depending on the location of the house. And if you need a studio apartment is what we call a self-con in Nigeria, self-contained. That is a room with a kitchen and a bedroom. And that is what they call a studio apartment here. A studio apartment goes for 150,000 CFA to 300,000 CFA, depending on the location. Their rent is paid monthly in Ivory Coast. So 150,000 CFA to 300,000 CFA monthly, depending on the location. I'm going to talk about that location much later. So if you're, let's say you're a family person, you intend moving down to Ivory Coast with your family, and you intend to get a one bedroom apartment. A one bedroom apartment goes for around 300,000 CFA to 500,000 CFA, depending on the location, like I said. And this prices varies from the difference in the location. Let me give an example. If you're in Nigeria and you stay in Abuja, the price of house you get in Maitama and the price of house you get in Nyanya will be different. Although they are the same Abuja, but the location differs. There's a place where the rich people stay, where they call Big Man area, and there's a place where the normal people stay. That's where you can get your affordable house. So these prices ranges from where the big men stay and where the normal people stay. It can be lesser in some area and it can be, but this is just like a rough estimate you get in Abidjan. So I've given you the prices for the single room, for the studio, and for the one bedroom apartment. So let's go to transportation. Transportation in Abidjan can be a little bit expensive. So for bus, if you're taking a bus, the transportation ranges from 200 CFA to say 500 CFA, depending on where you're going to. And then if you're taking a luxurious bus, there's this luxurious bus the government provides. Yeah, if you're taking a luxurious bus, it's 200 CFA to any location you're going to. Any location is 200 CFA. And then if you're taking a taxi ranges from 1,500 to 5,000 CFA, depending on your location, depending on where you're going to. And then if you're taking a Yango is their ride they book here, like in Nigeria where we have Uber, where we have InRide. What they have here in Ivory Coast is Yango. So if you're taking a Yango, the price is 1,000 CFA upwards, depending on where you're going to. Yeah, so that is that about the transportation in Abidjan. And then the food, their food here, their major food here is acheke. I'm going to be doing a food tour, or should I say a street food tour on some of their local foods here. That will be on another video. So this particular food is their, should I say their local food, is the most common food you can find here. So a plate of this their acheke goes for around 1,000 to 1,500, depends on what you want to include, because the food can include many things. You can actually add many things. When you go there, you tell them, okay, put this one, put this one, put this one, depending on what you're getting. Yeah, that is what to. But with 1,000 to 1,500, you can get a plate of food. And then if you're getting rice, a plate of rice you can get from 1,000 to 2,000 sefa. And if you're the kind of person that buy foodstuffs and you cook, foodstuffs is affordable. Yeah, in the whole of Ivory Coast, there's this food price control. So whatever market you go to, you can get your foodstuffs very affordable, very cheap. It's only cooked food that is a bit expensive in Abidjan. So that is that. I've talked about the accommodation, the transportation, and the food. Electricity is something that the bills are not much. Yeah, you mostly use a meter, and then the meter is depending on how much you subscribe. You can subscribe for 1,000 sefa in your meter, and you use it until when it finishes, depending on the appliances you have, depending on how you use it. So that is that for the cost of living in Abidjan. So let's go to Bouaké. So for Bouaké, the accommodation, if you're getting a single room in Bouaké, a single room in Bouaké goes for around 7,000 sefa to 15,000 sefa. So with 7,000 sefa to 15,000 sefa, you can get yourself a nice one room apartment. If you're going for a studio apartment, like I explained before, a studio apartment is what we call a self-contained in Nigeria. Self-contained, it has a kitchen and a bedroom. Yeah, in a single room that has a kitchen and a bedroom. If you're going for a studio apartment cost for around 20,000 to 30,000 sefa. And then if you're a family person or if you're a single person and you want to go for a one bedroom apartment, you can get that from around 25,000 sefa to 50,000 sefa. Yeah, accommodation here is quite cheap compared to Abidjan. Yes, as it is everywhere in the world, staying in the capital city, things are more expensive there in the capital than in just any other state. So the same thing for Ivory Coast here. So that is that about the accommodation. Then for transportation, if you're taking a bus from 100 sefa to 300 sefa, depending on your location, depending on where you're going to. Then if you're taking a taxi from 200 sefa to 500 sefa, depending on the distance you're going to. Let's say if you're living in Nigeria, if you're in Abuja, let's say you're going from Maraba or from Nyanya to Area 1. A distance like that will cost around, say, 200 sefa or 300 sefa if you're using a taxi here. So that is for taxi. Then if you're using this luxurious bus, yeah, that is the bus the government provides for transportation. It's 200 sefa to anywhere you're going to, any location you're going to. Yeah, it's a government provided bus. Then if you're using Nyango, Nyango is their ride they order here. Just like we have in Nigeria, we have Uber, so we have InDrive, they have Nyango here. To book a ride is from around 1,000 sefa above, depending on your location, depending on where you're going to. And then for the food, acheke, like I already explained before. So to get that, you can get that from around 500 sefa to 1,000, 1,500, depending on what and what you add. Like I explained earlier, you can add a variety of things. There are different things you can add. You say, Madam, put this, Madam, put this, put that, put that. uh Depending on what and what you order. So that is that for that. Then if you're eating rice, let's say you're eating out and it's rice from 500 sefa to 1,000 sefa, you can get yourself a plate of food. And then if you're someone like me that loves to cook food, you know, you can get your foodstuffs in the market. The foodstuffs are very affordable. You can get your foodstuffs and then you prepare your food. I did a video on food prices, a market vlog on food prices, and I'll still do more market vlogs. so you guys can have an idea of how much they sell things, foodstuffs here in Ivory Coast market. Ivory Coast market, yeah. So that is that for the food. Then the electricity, like I said before, almost everybody here use meter, and then the meter you just have to recharge it. You recharge it for about 1,000 sefa to whatever amount you're able to recharge, and then it serves you till whenever it's finished, depending on what you're using, depending on your appliances, and depending on how you use it. That is all about the cost of living in Ivory Coast. Thank you guys for watching. So if you're someone that is looking at visiting or moving down to Ivory Coast, I believe these tips will be able to guide you or give you a glimpse of what you experience or what you see when you come down to Ivory Coast. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Diamond. I'm a Nigerian living in Ivory Coast, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Please do well to like, subscribe, and turn on the post notification button for more videos, and also leave a comment. Thank you.